My girlfriend had amnesia and forgot who I was. One day, I overheard her talking to a friend saying, "I'm just pretending to have amnesia. I'm bored and want a new boyfriend." So, I decided to get surgery to remove a brain tumor. When we met again, she confronted me, angry. "Liam, are you pretending not to see me?" I looked at her blankly and replied, "Miss, do I know you?" After the breakup, I went home to pack my things. The person who opened the door wasn't Sophia, but a young man I didn't recognize, though he seemed to know me. He feigned confusion, asking, "Can I help you?" "This is my house," I said, immediately regretting my words. At least, it used to be. The apartment Sophia and I had shared for so long now seemed like someone else's home. I never imagined that, right after our breakup, she'd bring another man into our place, acting as if he was the owner. "Didn't Sophia tell you I was coming to get my things today?" The man pretended to suddenly understand. "Oh, then you must be Mr. Brown, I mean Liam," he said with a smirk, his words dripping with hidden meaning. "You know, since Sophia woke up, her memory hasn't been great. It's normal for her to forget insignificant things." I nodded in silence and walked into the apartment. Suddenly, I heard a familiar voice. "Maybe it used to be your home, but it's not anymore." I turned to see Sophia standing there, arms crossed. "Mr. Brown," she said, "I may have forgotten many things, but please have some decency while you're packing. Don't take anything that doesn't belong to you." Her attitude was completely indifferent, as if she truly had lost her memory. But I knew it was all an act. Why go through all this if she didn't have feelings for me anymore? She could have just asked for a breakup, and I would have left quietly. Why fake amnesia and make everything so ugly between us? This wasn't just humiliating. It was a way to trample over all the beautiful memories we once shared. I hid the pain in my heart and replied briefly, "I don't steal." With that, I walked into the bedroom and started packing. Sophia and her new boyfriend watched me like hawks, flirting and joking as if nothing was wrong. She used to cling to me, acting sweet, like she couldn't bear to be apart from me for even a second. Now, she did the same with someone else. I didn't have much, just a few clothes and personal items. Despite the heavy emotions, I packed quickly. I stood up and asked, "Miss Garcia, do you need to inspect my things?" She didn't say a word, just gestured for me to leave, as if dismissing me. I grabbed my suitcase and walked out the door. The cold click of the door closing behind me echoed in the silence. I took a deep breath, my eyes burning. If only I didn't have these memories, it would hurt less. I pulled out my phone, hesitated for a moment, then dialed the doctor's number. "I've made a decision," I said. Soon, I was on my way to the hospital to discuss surgery. Because of the tumor in my brain, I often had headaches, but I hadn't told anyone, not wanting to worry them. The doctor said the tumor was benign, but could turn malignant. It was best to remove it soon. However, the tumor was pressing on my nerves, making the surgery risky, with a high chance of partial memory loss afterward. The doctor couldn't guarantee I'd recover those memories. In the past, I value my memories above all else, afraid of forgetting important people and events. But after breaking up with Sophia, I no longer had such fears. It seemed like there was nothing left that I was afraid of losing. I went to the hospital and confirmed the surgery plan with the doctor. Next, I needed to gather the money for the operation. I had studied art in college, majoring in fine arts, and after graduating, I became a photographer. With my skills in drawing and portrait photography, I earned a decent income, but the high cost of living in New York meant I hadn't saved much in 2 years. Just as I was leaving the hospital, worried about the money, I suddenly heard someone call my name, "Liam." I turned around and saw Sophia and her new boyfriend, Chase, not far away. I nodded slightly in acknowledgement and was about to walk away, but Sophia insisted, "Are you sick?" I frowned and brushed it off. "No, just a routine checkup." Sophia stared at me, her eyes full of concern and suspicion. Wow, she wasn't faking amnesia now. What kind of act was she putting on this time? When I left Sophia's apartment, it felt like a knife had been plunged into my chest. The emotional pain was overwhelming, but I decided that would be the last time she hurt me. I wasn't going to let myself be trampled on anymore. If she wanted to play dirty, I could too. In the days that followed, I started planning. The first thing I did was consult a lawyer. I found out that even though Sophia was acting as if the apartment was hers, it was still legally in my name. I still had a claim on the place. She hadn't even bothered to check the paperwork when she moved in with that new guy. I thought she deserved a harsh reality check. But I didn't just want the apartment. I wanted everything. Our shared belongings, the furniture, the TV, the sound system, even the car, which was in her name, but I'd paid for almost half. I went after it all. I started the legal process quietly, without her knowing. The lawyer assured me that, in time, I'd be able to recover much of what was mine. At that point, the surgery was just another detail in my life. When the doctor called to discuss the procedure, I walked into the hospital with a calm mind, as if clearing away the last remnants of the pain she had left behind. If I lost my memory, well, maybe it would be for the better. I'd lose the painful memories too. 2 weeks after the surgery, things started falling into place. I received notice that the legal process was underway. Sophia, of course, still had no idea. I prepared for the next step, the execution of my revenge. One Saturday morning, I went to the apartment where she and Chase were living and knocked on the door. They didn't know it yet, but I was there to take back everything that was mine. When Sophia opened the door, the look of shock on her face was priceless. "Liam, what are you doing here?" she asked, clearly annoyed. I'm here to collect my things, I responded coldly. She laughed, an irritating, mocking laugh, as if I were some fool trying to look tough. Your things? There's nothing of yours left here. Oh, yes there is, I said, handing her a court notice. She unfolded the paper, her eyes widening with each line she read. You're suing me? For the apartment? For the car? This is ridiculous. She glared at me, but I could see the fear in her eyes. Chase appeared behind her, smug as ever, thinking he had everything under control. You think you'll get something out of this, Liam? Chase asked, crossing his arms arrogantly, like he was dealing with someone insignificant. I don't think, I replied calmly. I know. The months that followed were chaotic for Sophia. She had to deal with the legal proceedings, which seemed to weigh heavier and heavier on her shoulders. Chase's arrogant smile started to fade as legal costs mounted. They thought I was weak, but now they were realizing their mistake. One day, when everything seemed to be going in my favor, I received an unexpected call from my lawyer. He had uncovered something during the legal process. Chase wasn't just Sophia's new boyfriend, he was a con artist. The guy had a history of scamming women, taking their money and disappearing when things got tough. And Sophia? She was just his latest victim. I laughed quietly when I heard the news. The irony was delicious. The man Sophia had chosen to replace me had been using her all along, and she, with her fake amnesia, thinking she'd outsmarted me, was now the one being deceived. I decided to use this new information. I sent a message to Sophia, asking to meet at a cafe. She agreed, probably thinking I was going to beg for her back or wanted to end the legal process. When we sat down, I got straight to the point. I know who Chase really is, I said, watching her expression freeze. What do you mean? She tried to brush it off, but I could see the nervousness in her eyes. He has a history of scamming women, Sophia. He's using you. I thought you should know. She blinked, clearly surprised, but tried to laugh it off. You're making this up because you're jealous and can't handle that I've moved on. I pulled out an envelope with the documents my lawyer had given me, records of past scams, fake identities, everything. She took the envelope with trembling hands and started reading. As her eyes scanned the pages, the panic in her face grew more and more evident. When she finished, she looked at me, completely stunned. You're lying, she whispered, but her voice wavered. She knew it was true.